It's time for Losses Above Replacement, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears, with your hosts, Alex.
Gosh, I have so many questions. Also, where's my car?
Splash.
Strive to love something as much as my grandmother loves buying new crock pots.
And Mac.
If you've ever been to Boston, you know that they have amazing ice cream.
Coming to you from coast to coast, it's L.A.R.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to Losses Above Replacement, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears. Happy Thanksgiving, as this will be out on Thanksgiving here. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I am your host, Alex Clark, joined by our very own side dishes here in Mathias Kurosaki and Ryan Splash Potts, my main men. How are we doing on this beautiful Wednesday evening?
I'm doing I'm doing all right. I raced over the weekend. That was fun.
Nice.
My sister's in town, so getting ready to do the whole Thanksgiving shebang. I coached all 3 days this week, so I was pretty tired. I'm not gonna lie. I took a cat nap at about 5:45, which is pretty late. I feel like for a nap, but I needed it. But yeah, in general, I played catch with my friend today. I have not thrown a baseball in almost 3 months, so my arm will probably be pretty sore in the morning, but I'm doing all right.
So you're telling us you don't want to be all-time quarterback tomorrow?
I mean, I could try. I mean,
I'll be all-time quarterback. I think having you two go against each other is probably a lot better than me versus either of you.
Oh God.
I especially with my knees both being broken, basically.
It's like that. I will say, this is, for me at least, progress over last year. Last year, the day before Thanksgiving, I was sick and had to call out of work. So that meant I had to go in Thanksgiving evening because the Gary manager just swapped my days around. So I'm feeling better than I did last year, which is all that matters, I guess.
We take that. Absolutely take those dubs. I wish we had like a Turkey Bowl game where I'm at. Like, I just don't have enough family members that actually like football. So unfortunate. But regardless of that, I'm doing all right overall. Work has been fun. I've been hanging out with friends a good bit lately, and I'm just excited to get going. What I'm not excited about is something that a lot of baseball fans that do not live in Los Angeles are not excited about, and that is the signing of Blake Snell, as Blake Snell has officially signed a deal with your reigning, defending World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers at a very interesting contract. And I mean, to be fair, there are things that go together perfectly. Peanut butter and jelly here, right? Milk and cookies. And it's the Dodgers and deferred contracts. It just continues here on this one as the deal's 5 years, 182 or 83 million, something around that. But on top of it, also with a big issue here of, $182 million with a $52 million signing bonus here and an average annual salary here that will be coming in of $34 million. But that is after extra deferred payments, with the actual annual cash being going in at $13 million overall. So, gentlemen, I'm going to be honest here with you guys. This contract doesn't make any sense. Here, I've been reading this time and time again, and I feel like I understand it. Then I look at it again, and I realize, wait, I've still got something wrong here.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Dodgers just keep exploiting this. I mean, they're up to, I'm pretty sure I saw, because of the Ohtani contract, they're at about $900 million in deferred contracts, which is bananas. People gave the Mets a lot of flack, and they still give the Mets a lot of flack for the Bobby Bonilla deferrals. And by the way, Bobby Bonilla's agent is a genius for the way he set that up.
Oh, 100%. Yep. 100.
But we're talking nearly $1 billion in deferrals. Why does it sound like only the Dodgers are doing this? That's my thing. Is that, and people are going to say, "Oh my God, the Dodgers are ruining baseball. They're signing all these big stars. They're like when the Warriors signed Kevin Durant, or when the Miami Heat had that super team with LeBron and Chris Bosh and D Wade." But there are other owners out there that could spend. It's just they're not spending the way the Dodgers are. I feel like I'm not saying every ownership group needs to spend like drunken sailors, but the Dodgers are not afraid to spend. I mean, I was saying, and the other thing I'll say is that last night I was saying to these guys before the show, but last night I was on another podcast with Metsmerized, and I was talking about how the Mets should be targeting Snell over Corbin Burns. About an hour later, Snell signed with the Dodgers. $36 million a year, I think, is aggressive for a 32-year-old who doesn't have a great track record of staying on the field, but he was arguably the best pitcher in baseball after he came back from the injury. 1.23 ERA from July 9th onward. He threw a no-hitter. He was pitching deep into games, actually. 10 of his last 14 starts, he threw at least 6 innings. Like I said, including that no-hitter. I think with a full spring training, Blake Snell is a Cy Young contender. And the Dodgers have this rotation of hypotheticals. If they all stay healthy, it could be the greatest rotation ever. Will they all stay healthy? I don't know. We asked that question before this year, and they did not stay healthy, but they somehow won the World Series. So the Dodgers are they're going all out to defend that crown.
One thing I do want to kind of bring up here, I was actually just looking up some stuff here. I was looking up on SpotRec here, a great source for contracts in baseball and all that fun stuff. Of all of the major league teams' active 26-man rosters, right, of how much they are paying out to the 26 men on that, Blake Snell's signing bonus, just the signing bonus itself, is more than 7 different teams' full payrolls to their 26-man roster. That is absurd. Here, you're like, I get it, right? That it makes sense on on an accounting level, right? That it means that that kind of money is going to be taxed under Washington monetary values as opposed to California's. But the dude is making in 1 day on you, mind you, on that one side is now more than 7 different baseball teams combined. Not combined as in all of them together, but their combined team worth of that active roster.
Yeah, I think the the Dodgers conversation in recent years has opened up more dialogue when it comes to having a salary floor. And we have the Clevelands and the Pittsburghs and the Athletics of the universe that don't believe in paying for players. And like we saw last year, the ebbs and flows of when you spend money on a team. You can have the Rangers who win the World Series in 2023. That's sandwiched between 2 years. They win like 65 games. The Royals go from a 56-win team to like an 86-win team after spending a bunch of money. Of the Cy Young runner-up, you got Waka. You bring in like real MLB players to fill out your roster. Well, when you get to the extremes, and the Dodgers, of course, are operating on one extreme, the Pirates and the Rockies, and I guess the Rockies do kind of spend money, but the Pirates and the A's and the Guardians and the Rays that don't spend money on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have wage inequality in Major League Baseball. There's a wage gap, right? And it does get frustrating to watch if you're a fan of a team that doesn't spend, because unless you get a Jose Ramirez level player who's not only a Hall of Fame level player, but also someone committed to your team, then like, is Paul Skeens going to want to stay in Pittsburgh when he knows on the open market he's going to get $400 million probably in 5 years, or $500 million in 5 years, right? If you're
Potentially more,
yeah, potentially more. Jack Wilson's son, I'm blanking on his name, but top 10 prospect in baseball, right? Imagine he's in 5 years an all-star shortstop every year. Are the A's going to pay him market value? I don't think so. He's just going to be the next, the next Jason Giambi that goes from the A's to the Yankees and makes a whole lot more money. So I do think we can have like a bigger conversation on, should there be a salary floor in Major League Baseball? We have the salary cap conversation quite a bit. What about a salary floor?
I think a salary floor would be more beneficial than salary cap in terms of like competitive balance and stuff like that. I mean, you got teams that don't spend, like you were saying, and that I was just saying this to my friend earlier, that Paul Skeens is fantastic. He's a generational talent, I think. probably going to win a Cy Young Award at least once. But people are already acknowledging that his contract is up in 5 years, 2029, and he probably won't be on the Pirates beyond that season. The fact that we're already saying that is kind of sad. The Pirates have an opportunity here to spend and build around Skeens and, their other young players. But here we are, they don't spend around them. So if you encourage spending, I'm not saying everyone's going to end up like the Dodgers, spending a ton of money and winning a World Series, but you at least encourage more teams to try to win and to be competitive.
I want to ask you guys this real quick, just for all kind of viewers that we have here for this podcast. What is the difference between a salary cap and a salary floor? Just so everyone is on the same page with it.
Sure. So the salary floor is the bottom. It is a forced amount that every team would have to pay. I believe the NHL has a salary floor. That's why, like the Coyotes, when they were really bad, they would trade for retired players. Famously, the Red Wings traded Pavel Datsyuk to the Coyotes, and he wallowed away on the bottom of their roster. He never played for them, but he was like millions of dollars for their cap so they could get to the floor. The salary cap is a limit on the amount you can spend. There is, I'm going to just call it a soft cap. It's like it's the luxury tax in Major League Baseball. Other sports have hard caps. So in the NFL, you can only spend X number of dollars on your team. In Major League Baseball,
the NBA too.
Yeah. Yep. The NBA has both a soft cap and a hard cap. They have a luxury tax as well. In Major League Baseball, if your owner is Steve Cohen, or you're the Dodgers, or you're the Yankees, or you're the Phillies, you can spend as much money. Any team actually can spend as much money as they want, but over a certain amount, you get taxed on that, and that goes into revenue sharing, which helps out the A's and the Rays and teams like that. Which is one thing in a different. Because baseball is more regionalized than other sports, and you have 81 home games as opposed to 8 NFL home games, and you don't get quite the same TV revenue, right? Like there's not a CBS game at 4, right? Like the Ravens and Eagles are going to play at 4:00 and millions of people are going to watch. Well, millions of people aren't watching every, Diamondbacks game. So revenue sharing, I get it, but salary floor is the bottom that a team must spend. Salary cap is a ceiling that the team cannot go beyond. A soft cap, a team can go beyond it with penalties. In Major League Baseball, those are financial penalties and draft pick penalties. And a hard cap is your absolute limit.
Yeah, okay. So I'm glad we have that all kind of on the same page here on this. Honestly, pretty simple overall. Salary cap is basically hard cap is you cannot spend any more than that. A soft cap is you can spend more than that, but there will be penalties. And a salary floor means you have to spend at least that amount. So with that, now kind of in the full lexicon for this here, what is stopping the MLB, like again, morals aside from all the kind of stuff, from having both a salary cap and a salary floor? Because from an outsider, just a logic side of things, that sounds like the best option. Here, you're making sure that teams are spending at the very least a certain amount of money, but are not going above a certain bit as well. So you should still have that competitive balance here. Obviously, I want there to be something like this, but my personal thought process is we're too far along to stop. Like, as much as I want there to be a cap of some kind or a floor of some kind, with the way that contracts are going now in the MLB, it doesn't look like it's going to be physically possible to put a cap in while taking what contracts are at right now without doing legitimately a nuke on the MLB itself. Here, a nuke on the ideas and the structuring, which would also mean getting rid of all contracts. Because right now, let's say, for example, tomorrow, right, they implemented that there's going to be a salary cap now, a hard salary cap, and a salary floor. If you did that here, you would still have every contract that is still currently in the MLB, and that would have to be grandfathered in here. And so now you're still going to have this for possibly 10 plus more years. And by that point, the numbers on these caps are going to continuously change as inflation changes and as the deals get bigger and bigger and bigger. Hell, we just had our nearly first $1 billion contract here with Ohtani. Like, we're not that far away, guys.
Yeah, but there was always a starting point here. There was a first $1 million contract. There was a first $5 million contract. That's just the nature of the business.
First $100 million contract,
which was Kevin Brown, if memory. So
yeah, Kevin Brown.
So there's always going to be advancement here, and the NFL instituted a salary cap in the 90s. Leagues have made salary cap reforms. They've changed. They've added hard caps. They've added soft caps. They've changed luxury tax things. With Steve Cohen coming in, you added the Steve Cohen tax, right? It became the Steve Cohen tax. So I don't think it's as much of an issue of just teams stuck in their ways or teams stuck in their current contracts. Contracts are always changing. You can always get out of contracts. But the teams at both ends of the spectrum don't have an incentive to have a floor, have a ceiling. If you're Cleveland and you just made the ALCS with your roster of, $70 million or whatever, probably lower than that, honestly, you're making less money than individual players in baseball as a team. You just made the playoffs. You were 3 games away from the World Series, and you made money. You made a lot of money. If you're the Dolan family, right? You made just tons and tons of money, and you don't have to spend crazy on your team. That's what made the A's with Moneyball. That's you can make a cash cow in theory on a shoestring budget, and you have a great team. You get great attendance. You have great fans, but you're only putting $10 million, $20 million into the payroll. Hey, then you can put that into other things. And if you're a MLB owner, maybe you put that into other things. Not to use a football example, but Woody Johnson does not really care about the Jets. He has the Jets. He has other things he cares about. Other owners care more about their team. Other owners may only have that team, like Mike Brown and the Bengals. But on that end of the spectrum, teams are not the Guardians, for example, are not incentivized to spend more money because you're already really good. On the other end of the spectrum, if you're the Dodgers, why would you want a salary floor? Why do you want other teams spending money? Every offseason, we don't have to worry about the Pirates. We don't have to worry about the Guardians. We don't have to worry about the A's. We don't have to worry about the Rays. We don't have to worry about we have to worry about like the Mets, the Yankees, the Padres, sometimes the Angels, sometimes the Braves and Phillies, maybe a Chicago team if they're really good. And that's about it.
And that's my biggest problem with all of this is that because of it, because of where we're at currently right now, there's no incentive for anyone to change what they're doing. Like, there is very little actual parity in baseball right now, which sucks. Honestly, it really sucks at this point. That's why it's so much fun to root for underdog teams like Cleveland, which, by the way, 50 million is where they're at on the 2024 roster here. So somehow you went over on that too. But to be fair, honestly, it adds more to your point here. So at this point, the Dodgers have no need. It's no, they don't care about a floor, and a cap would hurt them. Yes, so they don't want it. And they already have the soft cap, and they're like, okay, we're willing to pay those penalties, and we've proven that doesn't matter. Yeah, it's chump change. So it doesn't matter. And if you're the A's, you don't want a floor because of the Cohen tax, because of the luxury tax, because you just proved now that you can make a ton of money by being horrible and not spending any money, but you're going to get a ton of money back from the Dodgers for them winning. That's the problem that we're getting at in here in baseball. There is no incentive for anyone to change what they are doing if their mindset is set on either we're going to spend a lot of money or we're not going to spend a lot of money. And that turns into a lack of parity. Now, we'll look at the divisions, right? In the AL West right now, we'll start in the AL West here. The teams that spend the most money are the Astros. That's the number one team. Alongside the Angels, because of, one Michael Erroneous Trout there and a few other players. You now have the best teams are the ones that usually win the most. The Mariners are right there in the middle of the entire MLB. Legitimately, they're at 15. That's really weird. They're right about 54%, something like that. But then you look at the Central here, and what's the best team in the AL Central this year? It doesn't matter, honestly, on that one because the entire Central Division was so weird in itself. But by the way, the leading team in the Central paying-wise was Minnesota. They didn't win. You know who did win, though? The teams at the very bottom there in Detroit, which spent $32 million, and the Guardians, who spent $50 million. But the Central's the weirdest one to say, and that's why we keep saying the weirdest division or the weakest division here for the Central, because that's what it's been like. Because then now you go to the East. Yeah, right? You want to know who the best team was that made the World Series? It was the New York Yankees. You know how much they spent on their 26-man roster? Let me tell you, just under $260 million. To give that into perspective, you would pay the Guardians roster 5 times over and still have enough money to sign a free agent. That's the problem here. That is the problem here on all of this. We need to have some sort of method that helps the parity at least get a little bit more normalized. Like, that's why I like what the NFL does with the hard cap. It means that if you want to not spend money, cool, but you're not getting anything from it. Here, you're not getting anything on it. But the teams that are willing to go right at that cap here, cool, you're going to have a lot more that are willing to do exactly that because you're not going to have an incentive to lose.
Yeah, I will say though, like, there is parity in the sense that we haven't had a repeat champion since the late 90s. You know, the Yankees are the last team to repeat from 98 to 2000. But to your point, the teams that make the playoffs, it feels like they're the same teams almost every year, with the exception of being the AL Central. Yeah, the winner may be different, but like the Astros have won the AL West 8 years in a row. 7 full seasons in a row. The A's had the pandemic year. You know, the Dodgers have won, I believe they've won 11 of the last 12 NL West titles. I mean, it's like, tends to be the teams that spend the most that win. Cautionary tale, though, the 2023 Mets were a disaster. That being said, they were able to shed most of that payroll. So, I mean, you can find other ways to win without spending big, but it's kind of frustrating to see teams that, you know, get close to the finish line. You know, they almost win a ring, and then the next year they're like, you know what, we're not going to improve our roster. We're not going to spend on any free agents. We're just going to stand pat and, you know, sign some minor league guys, and that's going to be our upgrades to the team. Like, I remember in 2016, the Mets made the wild card game. They're like, oh, let's gear up for a big 2017, and their 2017 offseason was re-signing Yoenis Cespedes and a couple relievers. What do you know? They lost 92 games the next year. So really, to your point, we need to see teams, even if it doesn't necessarily mean you have to spend, you know, 9 figures on your roster every year, but like they do need to at least show more effort that they are committed to winning more than just once every, you know, few years.
And
one more thing I'd like to bring up. Oh, yes. Sorry, Slash, I do apologize. Here, let me say this one thing here real quick. So, of the top 10 spending teams this year, in again, 26-man salary, 7 of the 10 made the playoffs. If there are 14 teams in the playoffs, half of the teams that were in the playoffs were in the top 10 money earners. It's like, well, money spenders, I should say. Whereas the other 7 teams were scattered throughout the rest of the 20 teams. That's not
so. The money situation also leads itself to like teams fighting just to get to 90 wins, right? You have weaker trade deadlines. You don't have quite the Vladdies and the Bichettes. They're not on the move. You'll have the occasional like expiring deal, and it makes sense for the right team, like Jack Flaherty switch teams. You'll have moves like that, but you don't have the same level of teams like really going for it. And part of that's a playoff size issue with there being 14 teams. And like the Tigers were below 500 in mid-August, and they made the playoffs and went to the ALDS, right? The Braves a few years ago were below 500 in August and won the World Series with 88 wins, right? So if you can win and make playoff runs with 85 wins. Like Diamondbacks had 84 wins last year. 88 wins gets you in the playoffs, or 90 wins gets you in the playoffs. And you have this money situation. It doesn't incentivize teams to make moves. And you can just go back to our podcast during the AL playoffs, and I would say, like, the Tigers and the Royals and the Guardians are, like, if you looked at a team 15 years ago, it's like they have so much more talent. They have so much more. They have more players, like more guys that you could say, yeah, that guy could be an all-star in a given year. And it's like this Tigers team. It's a lot of mid. It's like Tarek Skubal and friends, and they went to the ALDS. They were a game away from going to the ALCS. Cleveland, it's Jose Ramirez and a bullpen, and they go to Game 5 of the ALCS. It just gets frustrating when these teams are okay with being potentially an 85-win team, right? That might make the World Series. The Rangers won it with 90 wins. The Diamondbacks made it with 84 wins. The Braves won it with 88 wins. The Nationals won it without winning the division. You just have – you see these copycat stories, and it's like, oh, we'll make moves around the margins and get a little bit better. We'll win 54% of your games. And over a long stretch of time, that's great. But in an individual season, you never want to watch baseball again because you're depressed.
Baseball is a sport where you're going to be depressed a lot of the time. To be fair, it's one of the few games out there where you can watch your team legitimately lose 70 times over the course of the season and then be happy watching them in the playoffs. So
yeah, I mean, you're also considered like a legend of the game if you only fail 70% of your at bats.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Baseball is a game of failures.
It is a game of failures.
To be fair, you can bring that up to literally every level of the game right now at this point, from not just players, but management, managerial, and ownership, all that kind of fun stuff. But this has been one of the most interesting bits because I really want to see what's going to happen now at the next collective bargaining agreement stuff, because there has to be something here going back to Snell stuff here with the deferred deals. Because right now, I do think that this is something that could really hurt the MLB and really hurt its teams. But we'll see. Right now, the Dodgers are getting away with it, and they are going to have one of the most dominant rotations next year. And again, if they stay healthy, knock on wood here, especially considering that also Roki Sasaki is coming to the MLB this year. And if he goes to the Dodgers, I don't think there's a team that can compete with that. We would be potentially looking at the best rotation in history.
I mean, Sasaki also is an international free agent, so
they have to go use international money, yeah.
Yeah, so because he's under 25, he's not going to cost a ton of money. That's why, like, as much as I want the Mets to get him, the Mets have already committed, I believe, $5 million to Elian Pena, and they only have a little over $6 million in bonus money, so they probably won't land him. But the Dodgers, I believe, have enough money where they can afford to.
I thought the Dodgers actually had one of the lower amounts.
Yeah, I'd have to look again, but I know that
because I remember seeing a
play.
Yeah, and I remember seeing that Seattle was actually in the top. And to be fair, it does make sense, I think, for Roki to come to Seattle for his opening deal. But again, that's gonna be a conversation for another podcast. I think, because Roki Sasaki is going to be another huge topic this entire offseason here. So, with that being said here, let us know what you guys think. Do you think that baseball needs to have a salary cap or a salary floor? Do you think it's okay where it's at? Here, let us know on Twitter at LAR_baseball here, because right now, baseball's changing. Baseball is going to be very interesting this next coming year, because if the Dodgers win again, what does that say for the president going forward? But with that being said, here, it is now time. I don't think we need any other segments today, guys. You know what? I think it'd be fun if we just get right to trivia. What do you guys say?
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, works for
right.
me.
All right. Hey, Splash, we're putting you on the spot here. Hey, can you come up with an entire Jeopardy board? Oh my gosh, you did it! Oh, he's done it, boys.
They do be like that. Hello, friends. If you are watching the podcast, you can obviously see the categories. If you're not, if you're listening, or if you're watching, great. If you're listening, Jeopardy rules. We have 4 categories: homecoming, family matters, the holidays, spelled with 2 L's, and November baseball. Alex, your team 1. Mac, your team 2. Mac, please pick a number between 1 and 30.
21.
Alex.
24.
The correct answer is 19. Mac, you may go first.
Go. 9
and
plus
with
10.
Jeopardy rules, and with there's only two of you. If you pick the category, you get the chance to. You get to answer. There's no buzzing here.
Oh,
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, good.
So
Right.
if you get it wrong, the other person can steal, and then they would go first on the next turn as well. So just throwing that out there.
Give me homecoming for 400.
Homecoming for 400. He has the highest WAR of any player who played for a New York team. He accrued 54.0 of his 117.6 career WAR with the Yankees. Mac.
Who is Alex Rodriguez?
Who is Alex Rodriguez? That is correct.
Very nice.
All right.
Alex.
All right, let's go to November baseball for 200.
November baseball for 200. Name Mr. November.
Yeah, that's Derek Jeter.
Okay, man.
Who is Derek Jeter?
Derek Jeter. That is correct. All right, Mac, back to you.
All right. Give me November baseball for 4.
November baseball for 4. Name the only player to hit a leadoff home run in Game 7 of the World Series, a November 2nd game.
Who is Dexter Fowler?
Who is Dexter Fowler? That is correct.
Oh,
Mac
All
out to a
right,
big
wow.
lead early. Alex.
Let's go homecoming for 6.
Homecoming for 6. Born in Tampa, name this player who was traded to the Marlins and from the Marlins in deals for future Hall of Famers.
Traded to the Marlins and from the Marlins. Here for future Hall of Famers. Pettit? Who's Pettit?
That is incorrect. Mac.
I don't know. Oh, I get to steal here.
Yeah, you don't have to guess because
No,
getting it wrong is
I know
negative.
the answer. Who is
Oh,
Gary
okay.
Sheffield?
Who is Gary Sheffield?
yeah.
That is correct.
I don't
World
know.
Series
I don't know who
champion.
you were going for there, Alex, because Andy Pettit never played for the Marlins.
I thought. Oh wait, was I thinking of Burnett? I think I was thinking of Burnett.
Yeah, you're probably thinking of AJ Burnett.
Rip. It'd be like that.
All right, Mac, your turn. You have the lead.
All right, let's go. Family Matters for 6.
Family Matters for 6. Name Bob Boone's 2 MLB-bound sons, both of whom made the All-Star game.
Who are Aaron and Brett Boone?
Who are Aaron
I mean,
and
even
Brett Boone.
I did know that one. Dang, I
That
should
is
have gone
correct.
for that one.
Alex.
Okay. I need to get back to 0, so I'm gonna go Family Matters for 4.
Family Matters for 4. Name Cal's brother, a player who has one of the most famous baseball cards in history.
Oh, that's Bill Ripken. Who's Bill Ripken?
Who is Billy Ripken? That is correct. Alex,
Nice.
you're back to 0.
Yay!
If you're not familiar with the Billy Ripken card, look it
It's
up.
the best
please.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, look it up.
Did you see that? What was it? I think it was Holiday did a parody of that here with and now Topps has actually made a cool dual card of the two of them with both of them signed it.
No, man.
That's fun. I like it.
That's amazing. Where one has Billy, with his
Oh,
bat knob, as we'll say, and then I can say Jackson's because his was PG friendly, where his says fun face.
Oh, God.
there you go. Okay.
All right,
Mac,
I'm going
your
to go with the holidays for 200.
Holidays for 200. Matt played 15 MLB seasons. He played more than half of his games with this franchise.
Okay, this one's actually tough because I'm questioning which team he actually played more games with. But I'm going to go with my gut here and say, what is the Colorado Rockies?
That is incorrect, my friend. Alex, you can steal. You may guess or you may not guess.
I'm gonna not guess. I don't.
What?
I thought it was the Rockies. Yeah. No, is it the? Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Pass it.
Okay.
Go for it.
Who are the St. Louis Cardinals?
Yeah,
Tough
To be
team.
fair, I only knew Holiday him as a member of the Rockies.
I mean, I remember him with the Cardinals. I know he was there for a while. I just couldn't remember because he went back to the Rockies at the end of his career, and he was pretty durable with them.
Mhm.
So, like,
Mhm.
I thought maybe it was them. I knew it
No.
wasn't the Yankees or the A's. I'll tell you
Yeah, it
that
was
much.
about 980 out of 1,900 total games. All right, Alex,
Oh,
your
wow,
turn.
okay.
November baseball for 6.
November baseball for 6. This pitcher started the only November no-hitter in MLB history.
Ooh. Is that Roy Halladay? Was it Roy Halladay?
No.
That is incorrect. Mac?
Oof. Who is Christian Javier?
Who is Christian Javier? That is correct.
My no-hitter.
Mac, your turn.
All right, give me Family Matters for 2.
Family Matters for 2. The Seattle Mariners trotted out father and son of this family in the same outfield.
Who are the Griffies?
Pass it to me.
Who are the Griffies? That is correct. Mac leads 2,600 to -600. Alex.
Homecoming for
back in the
1,000.
Homecoming for 1,000. This right-handed pitcher from Georgia eventually made his homecoming in 2005, pitching 9 years for his hometown Braves.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna pass it. I don't know.
All right, Mac? You may guess or not guess.
Wow. So wait, he signed with the Braves in 2005, correct?
Yes.
He's from Georgia. Played 9 years there.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I should know this because that means I watched him a lot. I'm going through in my head the Braves starting pitchers because those are my formative years as a baseball fan. 9 years with the Braves from Georgia. Man, why is this a struggle?
You don't have to guess, to be clear.
I know. It's bothering me, and I'm gonna be pissed when I find out who it was.
I'm really glad I passed. I'm gonna be honest on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pass. This is way more difficult than I thought.
All right, well, who is Tim Hudson?
I should have known that.
All right, Mac, your turn, sir.
Give me the holidays for 6.
Holidays for 6. Name Jackson's brother, a likely top pick in the 2025 MLB draft.
Who is Ethan Holiday?
Who is Ethan Holiday? That is correct. Mac, 3,200 points for you. Alex, your turn.
I'll go with Family Matters for 8.
Family Matters for 8. This father and son pair both stole 263 bases with the San Francisco Giants.
Come on.
This is where only knowing the Mariners hurts me even more. Well, no, like here's my thing is that like the what was it? My formative years of baseball were only knowing that the Seattle Mariners existed, and later in my life is when I started really realizing, oh hey, there are other teams that also.
There are 29 other teams in the league. Yeah,
exactly.
Although, Alex, you're old enough to. That wasn't always true.
I'm aware. Yes, I'm very aware of that. I'm passing. I don't know.
Mac.
Who are Bobby and Barry Bonds?
Who are Bobby?
Okay, that was what I was thinking. Son of a gun.
Okay, Mac in a bit of a route here. You may go again.
Give me Homecoming for 800.
Homecoming for 8. He only pitched one season in his home state, but he won his 300th game that season.
I don't know what state this guy is from, but I have a feeling I know who it is. Who is Randy Johnson?
Who is Randy Johnson? That is correct. Mac up to 4,800. Alex, back to you.
Just too good at this.
Pain.
So for the podcast listeners, we have Homecoming for 2, Family Matters for 1,000, the Holidays for 4, 8, and 10, and November Baseball for 800 and 1,000.
All right, we're gonna go Holidays for 4.
Holidays for 4. Jackson was the number 1 overall pick in this draft, going ahead of another MLB son in Drew Jones.
Wait, so I have to say the year?
Yes.
Yes, the year.
It was the 2023 draft. No, wait, no.
Okay,
hold on,
you said
no.
22. No.
No, 2022 draft.
Okay.
I'll
What
give it
is
to him.
2022?
I'm losing by over 5,000.
Yeah.
Please help me.
Okay. Mac leads 4,800 to negative 200. Mac, your turn.
I'll clear out Homecoming. Give me Homecoming for 200.
Homecoming for 2. This Massachusetts-born infielder was destined to be a Red Sox. Even his grandmother was a fan of the Red Sox. But the Red Sox traded him to Houston, and the rest was hall-bound history.
Who is Jeff Bagwell?
Who is Jeff Bagwell?
Yes.
That is correct.
Oh, man.
Alex?
I'm going to go Family Matters for 1,000.
Family Matters for 1,000 as my work alarm goes off. Here we go. Spell the last name of Carl and Mike, a grandfather and grandson pair.
I hate you. I actually hate you. YASZTREMSKI.
Very close, but very wrong. Mac, you may try for 1,000 points here.
I believe I know it because I did enough Sporkle quizzes when I was procrastinating in high school.
Okay. Lay it on me then.
YASTRZEMSKI. Yastrzemski. Let's go.
YASTRZEMSKI. That is correct. Mac leads 6,000 to negative 1,200.
It's for a baseball fan, it's as essential as knowing how to spell Mississippi, okay?
Yes, basically. All right, Mac, your turn. You have the holidays, November baseball, 800 or 1,000.
November baseball, 800.
November baseball for 800. November baseball first came into our hearts in 2001. It didn't return until this series ended on November 4th.
What is the 2009 series?
What is the 2009 World Series? That is correct.
I remember
Alex.
watching that.
I feel like this is an episode of Celebrity Jeopardy where we have not just a complete routing, but the idea that I am at negative 1,200 points.
Well, Alex,
like,
you got to get this one right. You got to get this one right. Yes, you
November
do.
baseball for 1,000.
November baseball for 1,000.
Oh, boy.
This pitcher recorded the final out of a November World Series and the first out for his team in the next November World Series. He has pitched in 3 different World Series for 3 different teams.
Who's Will Smith?
That is incorrect, my friend.
World?
I mean, here's the thing right now. I can lose points here at this point. It's okay because, to quote a now infamous moment, if I can't be the best, I sure as hell can be the worst.
Valid point. Matt, you may guess or you may pass.
Hey, hang on. I got to understand here. The first out in November of that?
No.
Series?
The next
first
World
out
Series.
Of the series.
Yes, the next World Series that had November baseball at any point. He did not start like out one of inning one was not in November, but the last out of the previous World Series was in November.
Okay, I'm trying to follow. I'm trying to even remember which World Series went into November. Off the top of my head.
Yeah, this is my bad for. I guess I found it fun, but
so he's pitched in 3 different World Series for 3 different teams.
Correct.
Huh. Okay. Like I said, I'm trying to remember what World Series all went into November. I know you said 01, 09, 2010. I know went to November. 2015 went to November. 2016 went into November. He recorded the last out.
Yep.
Of a November World Series. The first out of the following November World Series. Okay. 2017, I believe, also went into November. I know it. I think I do know it.
Play it on me.
Charlie Morton. Who is Charlie Morton?
Who is
Let's
Charlie
go!
Morton? That is correct.
It
All right,
took
Mac.
me a while. In
You
real
get the
Jeopardy, I would have
holidays?
lost.
Yes, that's true. Although you probably wouldn't have guessed. The holidays, 800 or 1,000.
The holidays for 800.
The holidays for 800. Name the holiday with the most stolen bases as a rookie.
What? There are only 2 holidays. What the heck? I honestly have no clue here. I'm going to say, who is Matt Holiday? I mean, Jackson Holiday barely played this year. What? That's incorrect?
That is incorrect.
Garbage.
Alex, you may
I'm
guess.
gonna pass. No kidding. Who's Jackson Holiday?
Who is Jackson Holiday? He
Back
had
on the
4.
board.
Matt had 3.
Woo!
All right, and
Yeah!
wrap this up.
Real low bar.
Alex, name the college town where both MLB Holidays went to high school in. That shouldn't be a question mark, by the way. That is a paid actor.
Paid actor. Yeah, I've got nothing, but I'm. Here's the thing. I'm going to make a guess purely because if I get it wrong, it's going to be negative 2,400 points, and that's very on brand for me.
Fair.
So I'm going to say, what is Tuscaloosa?
Tuscaloosa is not correct. Mac, will you guess?
What is Stillwater, Oklahoma?
What is Stillwater,
Yep.
Oklahoma? That is correct. Good
The
job,
only
fellas.
reason I know this, Josh Holiday is the head coach at Oklahoma State, and Matt Holiday is his volunteer assistant, and both Jackson and Ethan Holiday had committed to Oklahoma State as like freshmen in high school. So
Based. All right. Good job, friends. We do have a final Jeopardy.
Final
Mac,
Jeopardy, let's do it.
You are Alex. You are unfortunately ineligible. Mac,
I will play in. I will play in this regardless.
okay. Mac,
All right.
the category is 19th century baseball.
19th
Okay.
century baseball? Oh my
Yes.
God. Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna DM you my bid for this.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So here we go. Let's see here. Where are you, Splash? I don't talk to you very often. that was a little
Based.
Wait, what am I supposed to wager?
You can wager any points between 0 and 8,000.
Am I supposed to message you my wager too? Or?
Yeah.
You can just say it.
All right,
I've DM'd you my wager.
I'll
Okay.
wager 1,100 points.
Good wager. Okay. Your question. Before Thanksgiving became a staple of the NFL calendar, it was actually a baseball holiday. Name the park, one of many with this name, that hosted a Thanksgiving baseball game in 1887 between the, quote, prominent professionals living in New York and Brooklyn.
What? Can you repeat that question? Sorry.
Yes.
Before
Before Thanksgiving became a staple of the NFL calendar, it was actually a baseball holiday. Name the park, one of many with this name, that hosted a Thanksgiving baseball game in 1887 between the, quote, prominent professionals living in New York and Brooklyn, end quote.
I'm trying to understand. So you want me to name the stadium?
Yes, name the ballpark.
And you said it's like a common baseball stadium name or something.
There are multiple stadiums with this name. Example, there are multiple Busch stadiums.
Yes.
I have my answer.
Okay.
I have my answer. I'm gonna DM it to you.
There are multiple I'm trying to think of an NFL example. I think there's multiple Memorial Stadiums.
Yeah, I believe so.
There's one the Colts played at. I think is DKR a Memorial Stadium where Texas plays? Texas is in the Longhorns.
I know that, like, where Clemson plays, like Death Valley is, what's it called?
Memorial Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, Memorial Stadium. So you want me to DM you my answer or something, or?
Yes, you can say it. That's fine. Alex, do you have a guess?
Yeah, I've already put it in our DMs.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hang on.
I'll read out my stuff after Mac does this because his is the one that matters, but I'm
Yeah.
still playing.
Yes. Okay. Mac?
How do I DM you on?
You can just say it.
You just say it.
It's what in the world? I do not get this question at all. I'm going to be completely honest.
I understand that. No worries.
I'm legitimately lost here. I'm just gonna, I'm pretty sure there are multiple stadiums that went by it, so I'm just gonna guess Memorial Stadium. Yeah, Memorial Stadium. Let's go with that.
That is unfortunately incorrect. It is not Memorial
Wow.
Stadium. Alex, please give your guess and your wager.
My wager for this was 6,900 points, and my guess was Polo Grounds.
That is correct. It is.
Yeah! Let's go!
No way.
Woo!
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yes!
Yes.
Yes! Yes! I
1887.
jeopardied that one on you, boy!
You unfortunately still
What?
lost.
No, I win that because if you add 6,900 to my score, and you take away the 1,100 from Mac's score, then my score is better. I win. Let's go.
That is not how math works.
You realize what 8,000 minus 1,100 equals, right?
Look, if you take my 99 and 2/3% chance of winning against your 33 and a 3% chance of winning,
We have gone off the rails here on the LAR podcast.
I think I just have to remember.
I don't know if we were on the rails to begin with, though.
We never have been. Welcome to Lost Above Replacement, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears. We don't know what we're doing, but we're doing our best.
Thank you.
But
That was fun, though. I like that. I like that.
The end
That
of
was
that.
a good board.
The end of that was absolutely glorious, though. But good time. Thank you for putting that together as well.
Of course.
Splash.
Yeah.
As we are now here at the end of our show, it's time for our final segment, as we like to end every show here with the moment to ourselves. We take a moment, talk about whatever's on our mind. It does not have to be baseball related, but it absolutely can be. Does anyone want to go first? I do have mine also ready to go if anyone wants me to go first, which looks like I'm being told that, yep, I can go
Have
first.
at it.
It's cool.
Yeah,
So can someone please
producer
count me
in your
down?
ear is telling you to go first.
Yeah, the producer in this ear, yeah. All right, can someone count me down, please?
Sure. 3, 2, 1.
All right, so for my moment to myself, I need to give a thank you. I need to say a thank you to MLB The Show here because over the last little bit here, they had the hashtag Reveal a Finest, where people that were subscribed to the scouting report here got a code, which when you put that code in the website, it told you what one of the finest players was going to be. I did, and I got to see that it was George Kirby of the Seattle Mariners. I, of course, love George Kirby, one of my favorite players in the game, and I got to do the help reveal on it, being like, say George Kirby is the Mariners' finest, to which MLB The Show actually quote tweeted my tweet with that and showed a little gameplay footage of that as their official reveal for George Kirby, and yeah, I'm glad I got to be part of that. That was something that was really cool. I know I didn't do as much with it, but I love that I got to be part of something with George Kirby and with MLB The Show. The tweet itself now, my tweet right now is, I think, my most viewed tweet ever at 120,000 impressions. So pretty good on that front. But I do legitimately just want to say thank you, MLB The Show. That was a surprise I was not expecting, and I really appreciate, you selecting me, I guess, for this. It really, really made me smile. So thank you.
Good job, Alex. You have a little bit of a ways to go to catch my world famous Shohei Ohtani tweet that I think cracked 1 million impressions on the LAR account.
Yeah, I mean, that's not your tweet. That's our tweet.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. I made the graphic though.
Yeah, look, Splash, I 100%. Yes, it is yours. You're the one that did a lot of great work with it.
No, your tweet is Elon's tweet because he owns Twitter.
I refuse to acknowledge that. Let's move on to our next one.
By the way, we don't have an official LAR Blue Sky account. If you want to make one, you can have LAR_baseball.
No, we probably shouldn't give that as let's not endorse that real quick. Okay?
I'm not endorsing it. I'm just saying you could do it if you wanted to. It would probably be a bad idea because we have lawyers.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Look at me in my college shirt. I am lawyer, man.
Yes, I'm a Red Wings fan.
I am wearing a collared shirt and I've played a lot of Ace Attorney. I'm ready for the courtroom.
Exactly.
Objection.
No, objection! Hold it! Take that! I'm really good at this.
Real.
Anyway, who would like to go next?
I suppose I can go.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll count you down. 3, 2, 1, begin.
Friends. I'm going to talk about Joe Flacco for a moment, actually. There's a guy in the Ravens group chat that loves Flacco, hates Lamar. And it's like, oh, well, Flacco won a Super Bowl. He's awesome in the playoffs. Lamar hasn't won a Super Bowl. He sucks in the playoffs. All of those things are true. But I would like to take you back to Flacco's career in the playoffs. He's made the playoffs 7 times. 6 of those are disappointments. 1 is the greatest run in the history of history of any playoffs, any format, any sport, any field. It's the greatest postseason run in the history of anything. Outside of that, outside of the miracle run, he was not good in 08, not good in 09, fine in 10, fine in 11, really good in 14 until he threw 2 fourth-quarter interceptions to lose the game against the Patriots, and then bad with the Browns in 2023. So you tell me, why is Flacco elevated for failing 6 out of 7 times? And then you're going to just bash on everyone who doesn't do anything. Most teams fail. Every starting quarterback in the NFL, besides Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, and Russell Wilson, has never won a Super Bowl. Maybe one of those changes. Maybe Jared Goff or Lamar or Hurts or Allen wins one this year. I don't know. Maybe Purdy does. I don't know. But most teams do not win the Super Bowl. Most quarterbacks do not win a Super Bowl. And it gets on my nerves when the entire conversation around Lamar is, well, he hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, so is he really that good? He's a Hall of Famer. He is on track to win his 3rd MVP. Even if he doesn't, he's going to probably receive votes this year. So you're looking at a player with 2 MVPs, a host of records for dual threat quarterbacks, and he's getting even better. He's only 27. He's getting even better as a passer this season. And it's just frustrating to me to watch a generation-defining player and people just point out the flaws every time. And I look at Josh Allen or I look at Joe Burrow in the same range of quarterbacks, and I know they've had marginally more playoff success. We can have a long conversation about how fraudulent Josh Allen's playoff success is, by the way, because, yeah, he has more playoff wins than Lamar, but Lamar has 2 byes that he earned in the regular season, so didn't have to win playoff games after that one, while Josh Allen has never beaten a division champion in the playoffs. Lamar has beaten 2 of them, by the way. Lamar's had 4 touchdowns and scored 30-plus points in his divisional game to go to the AFC title game. Josh Allen scored 10 offensive points in his, and his defense allowed 3 points and got a pick 6. So he could have not shown up, and his team would have scored more points than the opponent team. But that's his claim to fame, is he won that game, and he's been awesome in the losses against against the Chiefs. And Joe Burrow, congratulations, you beat Patrick Mahomes once in January. Good job, everybody. Can we respect Lamar Jackson? Can we enjoy watching a future Hall of Famer? Please. We all enjoy watching Mike Trout. Mike Trout's done jack squat in the playoffs, but we all know he's a Hall of Famer. We all know he's one of the greatest players ever to live. Can we have some respect for a 2-time NFL MVP? Thank you.
Just a quick reminder that the only NFC quarterback to beat Lamar Jackson is now on the practice squad of the Vikings.
Daniel Jones.
Danny Dimes!
Yeah, Danny Dimes.
I had this conversation with some other people. It sucks that Lamar's kryptonite is the Steelers, and you play the Steelers twice every single season. Well, Lamar hasn't played them twice because he's gotten out of the games, but if like Lamar sucked against the Cardinals, it only matters once every 4 years, but he sucks against the Steelers, so it matters twice a year. Every single season. So, wow. It's like the Lions and Jags. The Lions have won the last 5 against the Jags. The Eagles and Jets. The Eagles had never lost to the Jets until last year, but no one cared because they played once every 4 years. But that's like 60 years of dominance. And the Jets finally beat them. So, Mac, your turn.
All right, Mac, you ready to go?
You can count me down. Yep.
All right, your time begins in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Yeah, so I raced an Olympian last weekend. Fellow named Anton Ibsen, who is an NCAA champion for NC State, went to the Olympics for Denmark. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty humbling. Dude beat me by a full pool length. But I mean, it's all about having fun, you know. It was fun racing him, and it's one that I'll probably it's one of those things. If I have kids, I tell my kids I raced an Olympian, I raced a national champion. But yeah, in general, I thought it was a good weekend. I was pretty banged up going into it. The only thing I did differently was I didn't lift for the week. But yeah, I feel like I'm decently pleased with that. One thing I'm not pleased with, and just to direct this in a completely different way, Syracuse's free throw shooting is impressively bad. They, as a team, I believe, are shooting 61% from the free throw line, at least as of the game after the game against Texas. So there are a couple of things that drive me insane in sports. In baseball, it's issuing walks, especially with 2 outs, 2-out walks, or hitting a batter when you're up 0-2 in the count. In football, it's missing point after attempts. In swimming, it's false starting on relays and prelims. In basketball, it's missed free throws. So if you know how to drive me insane in sports, that's what it is right there, the little things. So if I were Red Autry, I understand they won tonight. In general, we're good from the free throw line, but I would probably have them shooting free throws the entire practice. And for every free throw you miss, you do 50 push-ups or something. I don't know if that's actually productive, by the way. There's a reason I'm not a basketball coach, but I just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, in general, it was a pretty interesting week or weekend in sports. Now it's time to eat a bunch of food this week.
So
it do be time to eat a lot of food.
I'm going to speak to your free throw point. When Jim Calhoun was at UConn, he would make players run laps after missing free throws. And
I would do that, man.
I think that contributed to UConn being generally good in the tournament and generally really good in both the Big East tournament and the NCAA tournament and winning a lot of games. Because that's something when I play NBA 2K, I know crazy stuff. I'm always getting guys with high free throw rating, guys that get to the line a lot, and it's trying to get 85%, 90% free throw shooters down the roster.
In swimming, I had a coach that was really tough on us for breathing inside of the flags, like the final 5 yards of each length. And during warm-up, every time someone breathed inside the flags, we would restart the set. So I guess it works to an extent, but I don't endorse that. It's kind of a crazy method of training, and I don't endorse it.
Fair enough.
I remember a baseball practice years ago. We had a drill that coach loved doing. It's called pull the trigger. And what it was with it is that we basically we would do scrimmages, but you started every count 0-2. And it was, you had to basically okay, this is the situation you're in. If you let one pitch that's even close go by you, you're striking out and you're running.
Yeah, fair enough.
And so it was basically a drill to basically be okay, expand the zone a little bit here and be willing to go back to ball if you need to, even to fight pitches away on all that. And I remember the only time in practice, even a practice scrimmage, I ever struck out was during the first bit of that drill because I didn't understand what they were saying. And it was the first time I was up here. And a pitch that I thought was way up here, coach said, that's here, strike 3. I'm like, that was the first pitch, though. I was like, yeah, and it was 0-2. And I'm like, no, it wasn't.
Who was the player that came into an 0-2? Oh, it was Danny Jansen. He did well, it wasn't an 0-2 count, but he came into his own at bat.
Yeah, came into his own at bat, yeah.
Or with him at the plate, at least.
Yeah.
Or
absolutely
behind
beautiful.
The plate.
But anyways, that's going to do it for us here. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in here. Make sure you have yourself a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you want to follow us on Twitter, go ahead and follow us as a podcast at LAR_baseball. You can go follow me at SportsGuy242. You can go follow Splash at Mr. Splashman19. And you can go follow Mac at Mathias_A_K. But from all of us here at Losses Above Replacement, have a great rest of your day. Happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe. And I hope to see you all real soon.